They need to be looked at under the biggest, brightest light you can look at. Joel Olsteen. The Mattress Max makes a much better, to me, if you want an example of how Christ wanted us to live, it would be Mattress Max and not Joel Olsteen.
I don't know who Mattress Max.
Well, during the big floods in Houston just a few years ago, people were literally dying in the street. Mattress Max owned huge furniture stores. Come up here, he opened them up. Sleep on them couches, I don't care, and I'll find a way to make food for you guys. But Joel Olsteen wouldn't even let them in the door because they just had the carpets redone at his cathedral church, and he didn't want people tracking shit in there.
He defended not opening Lakewood Church in Houston to Harvey victims. He defended it. It's so obvious. Like, doing something like that is so obvious. You have a private jet. It's so obvious. You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much does that watch? This is so obvious. What you're doing is so obvious.
Those pastors,
Okay, so this divided we fall here. You just saw Ron White on Joe Rogan, and I'll even play it again, but it's funny because in the comments, a lot of people are saying Joel Olsteen as well as Ron White. Oh, and kudos for Ron White getting sober, man. He was fucked up. And I didn't know there was any hope for him, but he's doing good, man. That's cool. Anyway, sorry. Side note. Anyway, if you read my comment up here, it says, no one noticed Joel Olsteen is now OSTEEN, and it was always Joel Osteen. But not to me. I remember Olsteen. No one can or will ever find a book by Joel Olsteen. It no longer exists. He keeps saying Olsteen. Ron White does. He keeps saying Olsteen with an L. And because that's what he remembers. That's what I remember. I remember when it changed. One night I was watching it, or watching the preview channel, you know, and Joel and Victoria Olsteen with the L was on there, and it was for the next day. And so the next morning came, and I was looking through the preview channel, and it said Joel Osteen with no L, and I was like, "What?" I caught a Mandela effect, like mid happening, right? And I looked up his name, boom, 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 and it said Joel Olsteen on everything, right? But on everyone where they typed it in and remembered it, but it changed to Osteen, you know, through about half of them. So anyway, I happened to have a lady that was renting a room out in the house that I lived in Simi Valley, and she was all into Joel Olsteen, and she came down for breakfast, and I was sitting there eating, and I go, yeah, you know, and I kind of like wanted to, because she would never believe me about the Mandela effect. I would tell her about the Berenstain books and all that, right? And she's like, whatever, you just think that, you know, and I'm like, okay. And so anyway, I knew when I saw that I was going to fucking break it out on this lady, right? My roommate. So she comes down, and I go, yeah, did you watch Joel Osteen, and without the L, Joel Osteen last night or yesterday, whatever? And she goes, you mean Joel Olsteen? And I'm like, no, Joel and Victoria Osteen. And she's on, no, honey, it's Olsteen. I have every single one of their books going back like 15 years, right? And I read them all the time, and she did. That's why I was doing this to her. And I said, well, I'll bet you $1 million that it's not Olsteen, it's Osteen, right? Because the Mandela effect changes things physically, and it goes backwards in time or whatever. It goes all through time. Anyway, so she said, no, it's Olsteen. I own every book. I'm going to go upstairs and get him, and I'll show you right now. And she went upstairs where she had like every single one of their books, and she didn't come down for like an hour or two. And I was like, what the fuck, worried about her. She finally came down, and she's holding all these books. She had all of her books spread out, and she's like, I don't get it. Like, what the fuck? And all of them said Joel by Joel Olsteen. Joel and Victoria Osteen. And she's just like, what? I mean, which is when something like that happens to you, it fucking blows your mind, right? So, I mean, I understand her not coming back down and stuff, but that's just the way it is. So here's some comments. There's my comment on the top, and then I'll show you a few more. Look, right here. That should have ended Olsteen's career as a charlatan. Kudos to Mattress Mac. Olsteen, right there. That's what Stephen Greer remembers, right? Okay, and if you keep going, there's more and more and more. People remember Olsteen, and they write it. And as well as in this video, or in this Joe Rogan clip, Ron White also remembers it. But tons of people do, and then they don't know what to think. Like this lady, I don't know, because I moved out not too long after. I don't know if she started calling him Joel Olsteen or if she just went down the rabbit hole to see for more shit or what, Anyway, I don't see anyone really writing his name, but when they do, out of their memory, it's Olsteen, not Osteen, and it's just, look, here again, Joel Olsteen blocked me 10 years ago on all platforms, calling him out. Olsteen. How can these people just not... And look at the bottom down here. It says Ron White on Joel Osteen and mega churches. But, never call it a cult a church. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, Joel's church. A lot of them will say Joel O, period, because they're kind of freaked out on, they think their memory's wrong, or I don't know. But as I'm showing you, they're all fucking saying Joel Olsteen. Even ones that don't, it doesn't matter if you're for or against the man, if you believe him or not. It doesn't matter whether you're a charlatan or not. And because I found, I don't see the comment, but there was one that said, he's not this or that. Joel Olsteen is not that, whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? Right here. Okay, people that go to Joel Olsteen. Our first one that says with no L. Okay. Chick-fil-A, which I remember as CHIC filet, like chic filet with no K. That's just what I remember. I don't know. You may have the same memory. Let's see. Yeah, so anyone that really puts his name out there, that remembers it and makes a comment, puts fucking, look, Joel O. They put Joel Olsteen as their memory. And look, here again, don't blame Olsteen. People fill the church on their own free will. He'd be nothing without them. So, he's sitting there defending Joel Olsteen, and then there's other people that are calling him out. It doesn't matter. The Mandela effect doesn't, it doesn't care. It doesn't judge. Okay, let's watch this one more time.
Those mega churches, they need to be looked at under the biggest, brightest light you can look at. Joel Olsteen. The Mattress Max makes a much better, to me, if you want an example of how Christ wanted us to live, it would be Mattress Max and not Joel Olsteen.
There you go. On every one, he's saying, when Ron White's saying this, he's saying Olsteen, and it's showing it. So I don't get it, you know, like, I mean, I do get it, but I don't know how it changes like this, but here you go. What do you guys remember?
I don't know who Magic Mac.
Well, during the big floods in Houston just a few years ago, people were literally dying in the street. Mattress Max owned huge furniture stores. Come up here, he opened them up. Sleep on them couches. I don't care, and I'll find a way to make food for you guys. But Joel Olsteen wouldn't even let him in the door because they just had the carpets redone at his cathedral church, and he didn't want people tracking shit in there.
He defended not opening Lakewood Church in Houston to Harvey victims. He defended it. It's so obvious. Like, doing something like that is so obvious. You have a private jet. It's so obvious. You have a mansion. It's so obvious. How much does that watch? This is so obvious. What are you doing is so obvious.
Those pastors, those mega churches, they need to be looked at under the biggest, brightest light you can look at. Joel Olsteen. Olsteen.
There, I'll end it on that. Olsteen, it is. So here's my comments up here if you guys want to check it out. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video. It's Divided We Fall here, and I love you guys. Let me know what you remember, okay? And we can talk about it. Comfort each other, because it's a mind blow. All right, love you guys. Divided We Fall out.